Greetings and citations, ladies and gentlemen. I am James, aka the Architect, aka New House Who This, and with me, as always, is Skull Hunter Games, aka Jordan.
Yes, it's me. I'm back. Skull Hunter Games. Joining us today, as always, our third and best, Joseph. And we're here. We're back. Episode 16, 17? Episode 17 of the podcast?
Yep, episode 17, just the girls tonight.
Okay, well, with it just being us and the girls, there's also a special guest that will make an appearance, and we can kind of see her in the cam. We got the cat cam! Only I can see it, and it's great.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mary, Queen of Scots.
That's...
She was found in a barn at my mother-in-law's house.
Interesting.
My dog stepped on her, and so I had to take her to the vet. And so, since I paid vet bills, I paid too much money for a stray cat. I was like, you know what? She's an inside cat now. So here she is.
That's fair, you know. Good for you. Taking in animals. Oh,
I heard it also worked for dating too, but I can't substantiate that.
What about spending too much money or stepping on them?
Everything. Taken to the vet. Oh, never mind.
It's a lot harder to get them fixed, though. Anyway,
that is true.
Speaking of things that may be fixed,
Thank you for joining me in the ditch.
we got. Oh, thank goodness my wife is downstairs, I think. Speaking of things that may be fixed, so the EU recently approved of the Microsoft sale of Bethesda. Now, you might be thinking, I thought that was already in the works. Well, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because it obviously got resolved in the end, but there was issues. There was some hiccups over in EU. The FTC, Federal Trade Commission in the United States, approved the trade. But since they have offices in the EU, in Europe somewhere, I don't know what's considered the EU anymore. I know some places left, some people joined. I'm not sure. Geography wasn't a class I took in college, so it is what it is. But they have their own version of the Federal Trade Commission. I don't know what it's called, so we're just going to call it EU FTC. And they finally approved it. There was some hiccups. There was some problems with it. They were saying that, like, Bethesda was trying to do this to get out of some debts, maybe, which usually isn't an issue. But I guess depending on what those debts are to, what you're indebted to, that could be an issue. But they got it resolved. What do you guys think about this? Why do you think that this could be more prevalent when it comes to big companies buying other developers and publishers? Because we're starting to see that a lot often now. We're starting to see a lot of tech companies and other things get bought out by big companies. So what do you guys think? Do you think that FTCs on either US, Europe, wherever, do you think they're going to play a bigger role in how we see things go about?
So my first kind of reaction to this is how much interference by not only a governing body, but a governing body that actually controls a number of countries, and how that limits the ability for businesses to make these transactions. Because we're talking about Microsoft, they got the money. They can buy Bethesda, so it's no problem for them. So it seems to benefit the larger companies who can afford all of this bureaucracy, but it doesn't seem to. It seems like it's going to be too much of a hassle for companies beneath that level, which are numerous, at least for now. And then they end up getting sucked up in the end. Long term, when you look at different industries, they always do end up consolidated under a few institutions. Especially here in Canada, we have two phone companies, and I think in the States, I think what you guys are like, what, 4, maybe 5 major phones?
It depends. We have 5 major ones, but then there's there's like track phones that borrow signals from different towers. There's there's like the cheap like the government assistance plans kind of thing, and they go other we have a ton of them here.
We have too many.
Yeah. So you can actually see maybe there's even a tangible benefit down the line to reducing it to fewer companies, so that way it's easier for them to move capital around. And you get when you have two companies, they can compete with one another, they can keep each other in line. And again, I don't know how the phone companies do this in the States, but in Canada, what we do is we have several brands beneath each company. So like for instance, I'm with Fido. Fido is a subsidiary of Rogers. So even though I can't afford Rogers and I can't afford Bell because they're kind of like on that same level, I can afford these other brands that are made to compete and bring in smaller consumer bases. So big companies do have ways of reaching the different consumers. So it's not like it's not something to dread, but it does seem to be like an inevitable march towards companies being consolidated and merged into larger companies like Microsoft in games or like Disney in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, and I kind of want to bring up an instance of last this happened. I don't have the exact year, but a few years ago, you brought up phone companies, which is actually really ironic because AT&T bought out. Was it Singular? They bought out Singular Wireless, which was a phone company. So they bought out another phone company, and a couple years after that, they bought out DirectTV, which is a satellite TV provider. And they actually ran into issues with FTC because there was some worries of, I forget the exact words. It wasn't like it was weird. They're worried. It wasn't basically like building a monopoly, but it was something that could have been bad.
I can't hear you over the sound of my heart melting.
Oh,
all you can hear. Okay, so the audio listeners, if we haven't said it already, there is a cat, and this cat wants affection, so it's just right up on the mic, purring. It's no one sitting there just going into the mic.
She's a good kitty. But yeah, so so we've seen this happen before, and now the only other issue I can see this happening is if, let's say the EU were to deny this. It was already approved in the US, but because all every office, because they have offices, like I said, they have bases here and in EU. If the EU office didn't get approved, then the entire deal would have been canceled, which means Bethesda may or may not have been in a bad spot, because who knows? They got bought out for a reason. Either the penny was way too shiny, or they were in serious need of money. And so, I mean, if it got denied, I'm sure that would have been good for them. Wouldn't have been good for Microsoft. And who knows? Maybe it might not have been good for anybody, because maybe they'd come out with Fallout 76 2, and then they would have definitely gone under.
I mean, different genres of games are more expensive to make than others, and yet the pricing structure can often be the same. Once you get to that AAA level, then then you're compelled to sell at a certain amount, like what, $60? I think around like 80 here in Canada. So let me draw a comparison between two AAA titles. So you have the Uncharted series, which are beautiful, but they're highly guided. So you don't have to spend a lot of time testing how to walk vertically off cliffs. There's not as much there's not as many things to go wrong, so there's a lot less testing, and it's a focused and a refined experience. Bethesda games and open world games are a huge money sink because you have to hire a massive team. They have to develop quests. They have to test the quests. They have to make miles and miles of land. And I played through Breath of the Wild, and they did a pretty good job of making it visually interesting. But there are patches of land where they're just okay, they kind of phoned in this little area over here, this area over there.
Yeah.
Last Elder Scrolls game I played was Skyrim. They haven't come out the new one yet. Didn't get into the MMORPG, but I remember Skyrim. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say they had the Elder Scrolls Online, but I don't know if you would consider that part of the single player experience.
I mean, is it an Elder Scrolls experience in the same way are the Final Fantasy MMORPGs a Final Fantasy experience? It's like a Venn diagram. There's similarities, but then there's obviously some differences too, which, by the way, is also a great point too, which is MMORPGs are a massive money sink as well. But the point that I wanted to make about Skyrim is that I remember I played Skyrim for quite a bit, and it is dense and it is beautiful. There is a lot of work in making sure that there's very little wasted space. So these games are expensive to make, and they don't have the market to justify a price point that would actually be more salvageable than other AAA games like the Uncharted series, which I don't know. There's challenges making those games too, but they're not the same challenges, and they certainly don't seem the same kind of expenses.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on this, Jordan?
I got nothing. You guys pretty much covered.
I don't have anything either. I'm just like, I'm getting really good at bullshitting.
Dude, great job. But yeah, I kind of had nothing on this. Like, you put it in our little Discord chat, and I looked at it going, I hope Joseph take the lead on this because I got nothing. I'm being honest.
This would fall into almost like an e-commerce situation, more so talk about like the FTC than anything else. Yeah.
Man,
So,
economics, e-commerce. How do you say that last word? I just tried to say.
So e-commerce is
e-commerce.
What you can listen to and hear talked about and explained if you listen to the podcast Economics. A WFI podcast hosted by our good friend here, Joseph the Queen.
I do enjoy the fact
I'm sure
that
yours is a house full of princesses.
There's so much estrogen in this house. Oh my goodness.
But you know what doesn't have a lot of estrogen? Our next topic.
Grand Theft Auto Online.
That is true. I mean, that is actually true.
There is not a lot of estrogen there. But before I jump into that topic, so on Twitter yesterday was a trending topic, or not even a trending topic. I think it was like Pokemon. Someone started. It was like someone started something, and then it just started the snowball avalanche effect. So I think Pokemon put on Twitter. She said, "I'm single, BTW." By the way. And so all the impressionable teenage girls or whatever guys, like people who are in that group of impressionable people, put, "I'm single, BTW." And then all the people replying was like, "Yeah, you play League of Legends for 12 hours a day. Of course you're single." And just start roasting the crap out of them for being like typical gamers and stuff like that. It was great. It was great. And that's what made me think, because the type of people who would do that are also the type of people you run into GTA Online. And there was IGN had an interview with a prevalent modder in the GTA community, and he had come out and said that if Rockstar, the developers of Grand Theft Auto, wanted to fix the loading times in GTA Online, he said it would take them less than a day to fix it. And if you don't know, it's a whole day event if you want to even try to get into GTA Online. The loading times are ridiculous. I remember, I'm about to date myself here, but I remember I bought GTA 5 when it first came out on the Xbox 360. And it's funny that they are remaking it for the PS5 and Xbox Series X, so maybe I didn't date myself. Maybe I just proved how much faith that Rockstar puts into one game. But the loading times, like, I got it day one. And, day one games, there's always issues, especially with online multiplayer games.
Yep.
There's always issues. So it wasn't even day one, because I think the online came out a little afterwards. But first day of the GTA Online was available, I literally was in a loading screen for 30 minutes, sitting in a loading screen. And when I finally joined in, they had to do this little tutorial thing, and then server crashed. So that was my fun experience with that. Now, what do you guys think? I'm going to bring up this topic because I want to ask you guys this question anyway. We see modders are very efficient at what they want to do at any game, really, that has an online server base. Do you see these modders being able to add different things, or maybe change textures, or do other cool things? Yeah. Or sometimes they just fix the game. You just get on their server and you're playing a better version of the game you bought. So why do you think these modders, who aren't getting paid by Rockstar, who probably don't have as much time as the developers at Rockstar, can put into this and fix the game, but the actual developers won't? What do you guys think what's just on your noggin there?
I mean, honestly, okay, so what you're asking is pretty much, what do we think about how is it that these gamers can, or these moderators can sit there and fix the game, but Rockstar can't?
Sort of. That's like 50% of it. I want to know that, but I also want to know, why don't you think that? Because, well, if people mod like Source Engine games, Valve will either credit them or have them come on board. That's how games like Counter-Strike, Day of Defeat, Portal was a big one. That's how all those games got started, is because people modded Half-Life or what's the other one? I don't remember. It's most of them started off with Half-Life, but they modded Half-Life, and she's scratching my leg. They modded Half-Life and got these, and they basically got hired or paid for the work that they did for these mods. So why don't you think Rockstar or any other game developer would do that? Not even have to necessarily pay them, but just like see what they did and simply do it.
Oh, because
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Joseph.
Well, I'm going to briefly explore the idea that they are aware of this and they choose not to reduce their load times.
Yeah.
What would be the motive for that? And I think in a game like GTA Online, there is a lot of potential to grief other players. It does encourage that kind of gameplay. Somewhat alluding to what we talked about before about the psychology of what games we choose to play. So there's something about forcing players to wait 5 to 6 minutes might take some of the edge off, so that when they actually get into the game, they think, okay, well, if I screw around or if I screw with somebody and I die, I'm gonna have to wait another 6 minutes. But if I play the game in earnest and I either like focus on objectives or try to do something productive, whatever that looks like in Grand Theft Auto, I don't know, I'm not really an expert on that series. Having that long load time is a way to create stakes in the gameplay, and losing like 5 to 6 minutes at a time, if I have like 2 hours to play, that actually checks out. So there could be it could be like a white lie. There could be a positive reason why they don't want people to jump in right away. Now, you can also say that, well, hold on a second, if you just die right away, why don't you just like, you'll just respawn back again. That's the thing. I don't know how the gameplay works, but I imagine that if you're on objectives or on a mission or something like that, that can take a lot of time. So it would be pretty frustrating for somebody to come in, blow you up, then get blown up in retaliation, and still end up costing the other player a lot of time anyways. So that's why they would keep it, even if they don't have to.
All right.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's more of a like a good guy look at it.
Yeah.
Instead of the cynical answer of them being lazy.
I think Rockstar knows. I think they know about all this. I mean, how can you not? I mean, there's so much. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have so much stuff that, I mean, it's impossible for a big company like Rockstar not to notice. I don't use TikTok and I barely use Instagram, but you know, we have those social media platforms. Rockstar just doesn't want to put the time and the money into it, especially with GTA. GTA is old. GTA 5 has been going. They've been talking about making 6. And you know what they've been doing? They've been making DLCs that makes you leave GTA. Well, you're only there on this new DLC because they couldn't put anything else in the map they already done it to. So they had to literally make you go in a whole other different area. Rockstar is lazy. They proved it with Red Dead 2. They're as lazy as it gets, and they do not want to spend money if they don't gotta.
All right. Got my grandma on speed dial. Call that Instagram. Now.
Okay, but before we actually leave too much of the topic, so because I'm a man in this day and age, I decided.
Fair.
You brought up Pokimane is single, so I did a quick Google search. But one, she was joking. I mean, if you're listening to the podcast now, she tweeted back out that, you know, she was just tired of hearing about it.
I really didn't care about what Pokimane tweeted. I was laughing at all the responses to the people saying they were single.
That was one too. I went down for the responses, and literally there's this one person. I'm not gonna say names, and I'm not gonna show the photo he tweeted, but gave her his credit card information right there on Twitter. With going, I have so much money. I love anime. This is the quote. Hey Pokimane, I have many reasons why I should be your boyfriend. Pokey, I have so much money. I will treat you like a queen. I love you. I'll message your feet every morning. And in massage. It meant massage, but this is definitely message.
But he said message. Okay.
And I am ready to marry, or I'm ready for marriage. I am the perfect guy, and sub and watch your streams. Please, babe, date me. I love you. Then follow-up tweet.
Same guy?
Same guy. So much. I'm an anime and I trust all girls I treat all girls like queens. I will give you everything. I will become the perfect guy. Here's my credit card. Plus, babe, I am ready. Come for me. And he shows his credit card. I don't know if it's real. I'm not going to try it. Yeah, and then, more recently, he puts down the whole thing was a joke. I don't know. If you're willing to put even if it's a fake credit card, if you want to put a credit card information out there.
Here's the thing. That, what you read did sound like it could be a joke, just because that is like, when people stereotypically make fun of like simps, that we're no longer allowed to say on Twitch, when people say things like that to make fun of simps, that was like, you know, they hit every checkbox, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, literally, like it hit every one. But the thing that drove my mind, like, just blew, is he was responding to his own tweets. No one said anything yet. He was responding to his own tweet.
Yeah, but as I was saying, like, yeah, he could be making fun of it because it like hit every box. Like, oh, I'm a sub. I'll massage your feet. I have a lot of money. Here's my credit card. Blah, blah, like, I'm da da da. Like the things that people make fun of simps for. But how deep into the joke does it get? Like, before it's like, are you really joking? Like when you tell the homie you love him and you're like, oh, keep doing that, I'll kiss you, and you're like, oh, then you guys end up kissing. It's like, we're not gay, we're homies, but then it's like, yeah, you're kind of gay,
like you lean into me, like, you know.
Yeah.
Should go that
again. Speaking as a retired simp myself, the issue with that is there wasn't any exaggeration, because you guys said that he hit every note that they typically will hit, but there's not even like I'll make you bed and breakfast, and then I'll make your feet bed and breakfast as well. Like, there's no slight, not even a slight exaggeration to plant that seed. Yeah, exactly. So if you're the only other way to exaggerate then is in delivery, which is lost because it's text. So yeah.
He probably got made fun of a lot and immediately had to put, it was a joke.
It was a joke. I didn't mean it. And looking at the photo of the credit card, I will say it's more than likely it was a joke, because the first 8 numbers is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know. So I will say it's. I'm sorry. Yeah, the card could not be real, but he was probably serious about the whole thing. Yeah. Let's be honest. She's a beautiful girl.
It could have been a simp who was just broke and, you know, just used a fake credit card to try to hope that it was like, you know what I mean? Just hoping that she wouldn't actually try it. He was just trying to flex a little. Maybe. That's the story we're going with, by the way.
He had one of those credit cards that come with, like, when you're air quote approved. He probably like grabbed his dad's card and been like, oh, look at this. I got a lot of money. Boom.
But actually, if I'm going to curtail that into a story real quick, because we're gonna kill some time here, my friends. So you brought up taking debts. So if you guys don't know, I have a very expensive CS:GO inventory, and a lot of that came from the fact that a couple years ago, there was websites that would sponsor me, and they'd pay me in skins, and you know, back and forth. Past couple years, I traded some, sold some, blah blah blah. Right. So I have a decent inventory of CS:GO skins. Almost every game I play, I always get one guy who goes, how much money did you spend on this game? And then in my little squeaker voice, I always make up some story about how when my mom, or while my dad was at work, my mom snuck the mailman to go wrestle in the room or something like that. And I stole her credit card. I took her credit card and just bought some things that I wanted or something like that.
Oh my god!
I just make up funny stories like that. It's hilarious.
And
then they'll either like laugh, and then that'll just be the end of it, or like they'll continue it, and then I don't know where I'll just like talk in my normal voice, like I'm like, hey dude, what's up? And then they're like wait, what? Like just throws them off for a second because they don't know if it was a joke or not, and then they like it just hits them all at once. You know what I mean?
See,
but it's funny.
I love the example of that, like you were just saying. you know, how people are like, you know, oh yeah, you know, do you pay so much money for this game and all that? I haven't paid for a Call of Duty game since never. I've never bought a Call of Duty game. I've always had Activision just send me codes and I'll use said codes. And so it's been a great time for me, but there's been a few times where people would comment as I'm playing going, wow, you must not do anything. You must just sit down and play Xbox all day. And immediately my response is, yeah, I'm in the World Leagues. Like, I literally get paid to do this. Yes, I'm going to sit down all day and do this. And then they're like, well, that's not real. Okay. It's cool. It's not real. Sure. It's a great time though. It's a great. Joseph, have you ever got accused of? I was gonna say aimbot, but yeah, being a low life nerd. And if you did, what was your comeback for it? Comeback.
It's the main people who like gave me a hard time. They had this unbeatable strategy where as soon as I would start to respond, they would go like. Like, it was perfect. There's no way in because they'll just do that until I'm done talking. So
very mature.
Yeah.
Before we go into our next story, I kind of think the world needs to see this. So my dog went to obedience training a couple years ago, right?
Okay.
And he was going to be a therapy dog. So therapy dogs don't really do tricks. They're more so to be petted and comfort and stuff like that. So, but when he was a pup, we tried to teach him roll over. Roll over, you take a treat. Everyone they tell you do this while they're like, you get them to lay down and then you do this. And then they roll over. Sorry, I feel like I'm about to sneeze and I really don't want to sneeze right now. So I would have him lay down. I do this. He would immediately stand up and spin in a circle to get a treat. Well, he has taught that to my cat. So now whenever I have a treat, my cat will spin in circles pretending she's rolling over. Do you guys want to see?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Get into the open spot of the floor.
Yep.
Get to the cat cam. Man, just two lonely just now.
We do descriptive video for the audio listeners.
Okay. He's going out to get a treat. Oh, he just called the cat princess. He is now in the floor. Oh my god, he's standing there. He's shaking the treat around. Oh my god, the cat's going for it. Oh, he spins in a circle. Oh, and is he going to get the treat? Oh, is he going to get the treat? Oh, he's spinning in a circle. Oh, no, he's just falling with his head.
You're making me look stupid.
Audio listeners, the cat is almost doing this right. And the cat got the treat, everyone. Oh, the cat has gotten the treat, guys. Oh, man. I was worried.
She kind of did it. She does it more dramatically when the camera's not on, I guess. But yeah. So, welcome to my world. This is my new house, everyone. I recently moved over the weekend. That is why this episode is late. As you see, there's a new background. And you don't immediately see my bed because, believe it or not, I have my own office now. Isn't that great? Yeah, it's fantastic. So, you know what else? Yeah, you know what else is fantastic, though?
What is?
I have to find good news. Never mind. These are all bummer news stories that we have left.
Oh man, you know what? So you know what's
sucks?
Not
fantastic?
What?
Absolutely not. So, Dead Island 2 has been announced and is apparently coming out. That is not the bad news. The bad news is that only like 4 people are going to be able to play the new Dead Island 2 because it is only being released on next-gen consoles. And approximately 7 people own next-gen consoles, so...
That's pretty accurate, to be honest. I'm excited for Dead Island 2. That is something I am genuinely excited for. I do not like the next-gen consoles, but in the same situation, maybe it's because they have such better graphics and stuff like that, they need to do it. The medium, you cannot play it on the Xbox One. You have to play it on the Xbox Series X or the PC because the graphics are just so intense.
Yeah.
So it could be the reason, but I'm not really too big on like the word side because let's be honest, the fact that Xbox 360 servers are still up right now is kind of mind blowing.
I thought they recently just shut them off like this over the past year. I know they were up for a while, but I thought they were just shut down.
I thought they were shut down too. So it was about a week ago, and me and Chad were trying to play some Dead by Daylight. We had a stream to do, and then I had to play Beyond Enemy Lines. And as we were getting all that stuff set up and ready, Xbox servers went down. Well, they were down for about 4 hours, and then at that 4th hour, they tweeted out saying, "Hey guys, we got the 360 servers back up and running. They're working good as new. We're still working on the PC and the Xbox One." And I'm over here going, 360 still had servers? I was like, what?
It makes me wonder that because I remember that it was a big thing that happened. It was like they were almost down for a whole, like in the middle of the day for like 4 or 5 hours, right? Mm-hmm. 5 or 6 after. I think it was the whole end time. But I wonder if they were trying to get the 360 servers up and running, and then with them doing that, just kind of coincided with all the other servers going down.
That's
so
possible.
Like, well, we finished, and then they were like, well, we got to finish one project, and then we'll worry about the rest. So that's interesting.
That is very possible.
Now, if 360 servers are still online, does that mean people are still paying for Xbox Live?
I would assume so.
So
that does make it sustainable.
So the Xbox, you have you're logged into an account. Your account travels between Xboxes and all that, and you pay for gold through that, not the console. So and with the Xbox One and the Series X, S, whichever one you have, they are backwards compatible. So let's say you wanted to jump into Modern Warfare, the first one. You could play it on your Xbox One or Series X, and I would believe it would be through 360 servers, correct? Because I don't think, or do you have to play on 360 to do that?
360 and Xbox One really never got that compatibility they wanted.
Okay.
But from the Xbox One, the Series X is all compatible.
Yeah, I'm not an Xbox guy, so I take everything I say with kind of a grain of salt.
I have a hat somewhere. I just don't want to go get it.
Fair. But the point I brought up about the story about Dead Island 2 not being...
Occasionally Jordan looks like he's like inside an Xbox.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. It kind of does. Wait, we could change this out.
So Jordan is our Microsoft shill. Mm-hmm. And
it's so green.
Yeah. It looks like you're like, I don't even know how to describe it. But anyway, the point
I want to see if that's color keyable.
Oh, that could be fun one day. Okay, we'll test that out on another podcast whenever I'm more professional.
Right. But this episode sucks.
I think it's going good. It's going good. Hush. You know, the cat is what's going to save us, okay? The cat being in the podcast is what's going to guide us to success.
Yeah.
You have people who are binging on content, and not every episode needs to be the big pivotal season finale. Sometimes you just let the wheel spin, just chillax, enjoy a drink or whatever you like to enjoy.
What? I said that we didn't have a fourth guest, and you know what? Mary, Queen of Scots, she came through. She was there for us. And you know what? She's really livening the place up a little bit. Definitely not annoying or hurty at all.
Yeah. No, I'm not pathological. That said, she has been talking more than I have.
Yeah. I'm over here going, it's like, is that going to get out of recording or is it going to go through? But when it's all said and done, we aren't professionals. We don't, some of us aren't, but, we don't try to be. Joseph over here is, kind of taking up professional side to a whole new level. Now whooping us at CSGO.
Yeah, like a rung of that.
So, so what other topics do we have?
The point. Well, I wasn't even finished making my point.
Okay, well, keep with your point.
You got both. One of you guys have changed your name because you both start with the Joe sound, like J-O, like J-O-R-D, like J-O. Yeah, Jordan.
Fine, just go with Seth. It's the
Seth.
Yeah, because
I'm still gonna accidentally call you Joseph anyway. So
I'll just ignore you until you say Seth.
All right, sounds good. I like the plan. So, the point I wanted to make about this was not only is Dead Island 2 not going to be on the Xbox One and the PS4, does this kind of give the green light for other game releases and developers to just kind of skip the current gen consoles and try to sell directly to next gen consoles?
So I have 2 games in my history where I feel like if they had just been repurposed into a game for the next generation, it would have been better in the long run for how those games are. One is going to be obvious, one not so much. So the obvious one is Bioshock Infinite, which to this day is a game that I'm still burnt on because I remember seeing the content for it and I cannot wait to immerse myself in Colombia. And then it turned out to be a roller coaster ride. And I've always had an issue with that. If they had just like repurposed that for a next generation console, they would have burned a lot of people in the moment, but it would have done the game justice, which is at this point completely ignoring like the business side of it. Another one, and this is the less obvious one, but imagine if Majora's Mask was repurposed into a GameCube release instead of an N64 finale. You have a new system to unveil. You can launch with. They would have been like it would have been a very like horror based launch because they had Resident Evil, they had Luigi's Mansion, and they had Eternal Darkness. You capitalize that with Majora's Mask with like GameCube graphics. That game should have been a GameCube game. So with this, sorry, I'll just say this, but with Dead Island, if in the long run it's better for the game to be a next generation game, then so be it. And I also think too, there are less games to play on the system, so strategically they could get lost in the weeds if it's a current gen console. Whereas there's more, I think, prestige to making it onto the current gen console. Yeah. Sorry, you were gonna counterpoint.
No, not counterpoint at all. I was just kind of in amazement because I was sitting there. I was like, well, Ocarina of Time is probably the greatest video game ever made, like, period. And I think that Majora's Mask could have been right there. But then you brought up, like, imagine it on, like, the GameCube, and it just came, like, I'm at a loss for words because I feel like that game probably could have gave Ocarina of Time a run for its money. If it had the GameCube support. Absolutely. I've never once, I'm a big Legend of Zelda fan, and I never once like had given that a thought. And it's just like, if they would have waited a little bit longer and just released it for the GameCube, it would have been insane. All right, sorry. What do you think, Jordan, about skipping the current gen consoles and going straight to next gen?
Oh, I mean, like I said, I say go for it because when it's all said and done, we're all going to be upgrading anyways. And as long as people stop blowing vape smoke into their Xboxes to give them a bad name, it should be good. I mean, if we move over to next-gen consoles, they're still going to be backwards compatible with some games, but, I mean, just move on. We're all going to move on. We're all going to get the new phones. We're all going to do that. It's easier. Just keep it going.
I do want to counterpoint you on that. What if I told you that distribution of next-gen consoles has been not so great?
Obviously.
There are plenty of people who've gotten them, but there are plenty more people who want to get them, but they can't. Joseph brought up a good point saying there's less games available on the next-gen console, so they would make good money just being like the only seller there. But not many people have next-gen consoles, so if you don't have a next-gen console, you're probably not going to buy next-gen games. And if you were to release on the current gen consoles, how many people wait a couple years after the next gen consoles are already out to buy the next gen consoles? You know what I mean? So I know the Dead Island community is not big to begin with. Like, I'm not saying it's small, but it's not. Yeah. It's not crazy big. But if they're burning all the customers who don't have current gen consoles, so like that's where like the cost analysis I would imagine their R&D department did or convince somebody to do, because I imagine I don't see the money that you would sell from being, we're exclusively next gen, so the people who own next gen consoles have less games, like there's less games for them to buy, so our game will be more prevalent. But then you also have the majority of the player base over here, who's now all the sales are down here because they can't buy it. So now you're just trying to see what if it levels off profit wise, because you know what I mean,
right?
I don't know.
So here's one thing I don't know this about the game per se, but the longer they intend to support it at this point, the more worthwhile it'll be to be a Series X, Series 1?
Series
Something
X.
like that, yeah.
Series X, okay. I should have guessed that because it's the Xbox. And come on, Joseph, get it together. So if this is now a game that's going to be supported throughout the entire lifespan, it'll be like the go-to zombie adventure game for the whole thing, and they'll have an install base for it. They can come out with DLC, expand the content, and it'll be a recurring game that people can play on the system. So this is a chance for them to have a new foundation and to get a whole new wave of fans. Because I would say, like, I think the majority of the Dead Island fan base as it is now is probably on the PC anyways. But that, I don't know. I'm just kind of pulling that out of thin air.
Okay.
I don't see you being wrong on that, if I'm being honest.
I don't see him being wrong, but then I got to counter with you, James, because Xbox does this all the time. Is when a big game comes out, and Dead Island is a big game. It just, like you said, doesn't have that huge, like, fan base, like, hell,
it's
Dead
not
Rising.
Call of Duty level.
Yeah,
it's not Call of Duty level, but it's not like indie game status.
Exactly, but I think this what they might end up doing is whatever platform they seem to lean more for, or they might do with both, they might try to do like a special, like you buy an Xbox Series X, you get the game with it, or it has a special design on it or something like that. We've seen that
Xbox
for so many games with it. They did one for Minecraft. And Minecraft was out for a long time period on the Xbox, and then they decided to do it with every gen so far. So they might try to go that route, so that makes their supply and demand higher. So when people buy the Xbox Series X, they're buying it for the Series X, but then they're also buying it because of Dead Island, or the fans who love the Dead Island are just like, I'm gonna buy it that way because I can't use my old Xbox One, you know. So I think they might have a good idea, and we might come back to this whenever the game is getting further along its way to see if it's gonna work that way. But that's what I think is they're trying to do, because I don't see a company going, we know we're gonna lose a bunch of money on, okay, CD Projekt Red is their one, but I had to bring them up. We talk about them every time, but I don't see a company be so willing to lose money to go, hey, let's only release it for the next gen consoles without having a good idea with it. So,
and also, the Dead Island is known for being a very beautiful game.
Yeah.
Some of that has to do with the fact that it takes place in
scenery.
a tropical paradise.
I think Riptide actually won awards for art design and scenery and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right on. I didn't know that, and then also, like I said, it could have to do with the graphics. The graphics could just be like that intense, and they need to have a better console to run it.
Yeah, people like the developers of Dead Island who want to wait for next gen consoles, and then you have developers of certain games that completely blew their overhyped launch and then decided that, like, oh, we got hacked, we're done, see ya, bye. And so we'll see what happens. That's our one per episode.
That's fair. Hey, apparently I have a storm outside.
Nice. So speaking of crappy marketing strategies, so I want to open up with a story. Not necessarily a story, but like a little tidbit. So for Lent, I gave up candy because I don't say I eat a lot of candy, but I eat enough of it. Make these past, like, I think I'm like 20 something days into Lent right now. I've apparently eaten enough candy to realize that I'm craving candy at this point, and and it's super bad. My favorite candy is it's like Reese's and Butterfinger. They're like right there.
Yeah.
The best part about Reese's is the chocolate to peanut butter ratio. Yeah. Specifically on like the holiday ones, not like the like eggs or trees, but I'm talking about like the bigger ones. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. The ratio there is just so perfect. It makes it, the chocolate and the peanut butter mixed together. So you know what would be the dumbest marketing strategy?
What?
If you get rid of one of those ingredients. So Reese's has decided they are going to release an all peanut butter cup. Reese's peanut butter isn't bad. I've bought in the jar of it before. It's good. But if I open a Reese's, I go to take a bite out of a Reese's, and I eat nothing. But do you have to pee, Jordan?
No, I'm just mad at the situation.
Oh, okay. As you should be.
I was gonna just jump up on my chair, but I just replaced it, so I really don't want to do that.
Yeah. No, I would never do that to this chair. At least not for another couple years.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to being Mr. So, Mr. Angry Face over here if I open a Reese's and I bite into it and I taste no chocolate, I'm immediately throwing fists at anybody. Like the person, closest person to me is getting. They're getting all peanut butter fist. Like.
Okay, anger issues. Got it.
I'm throwing hands. What do you guys think about this monstrosity of an idea?
I would like to take ahead and go first. Personally, I think they should go to jail. But I'm also on a diet, so I'm looking pretty happy about this right now, honestly. Like it could be my new treat. You know, it could be something, you know, a little bit. It could be better. But
I hope you're allergic to peanut butter.
I hope you get scratched by your cat. But when it's all said and done, though, shut your mouth. When it's said and done, I hope that it turns out bad, so we can keep the Reese's to its fine and glory. Because either you love Reese's or you hate Reese's. You don't have that in between.
No one's ever said, you know what, I think I would like Reese's if they got rid of the chocolate.
I mean, yeah. No one's...
By the way, do you guys have Nestle Crunch?
Yeah.
And,
yes.
You do?
Crunch is one of my favorites.
That's my favorite. I love that one. I didn't like it at first when I was a kid because I didn't get it. But over time, I warmed up to it. I love the texture. It's like a little sour. It's just like a little bit of sourness to it. Kind of sweet, kind of tangy. Anyways, also a second off-topic thing. Have you guys ever tried freezing your chocolate candy?
All the time. Yes.
Not necessarily freezing. I put all my chocolate bars, if I'm not eating them immediately, I put them right in the fridge.
Okay, I put my chocolates in the freezer. That doesn't always work, but when it does, it's more refreshing. Especially if you get like a peppermint chocolate, the pot of gold. I put the pot of gold in the freezer. Mwah. Okay, now I'm not an expert on marketing or anything, but why not do just a peanut butter cup with chocolate on the inside? After all this time of it always being chocolate outside, peanut butter on the inside, couldn't they have done a reverse? So there's chocolate on the inside, like a wafer or a nougat, and then do the peanut butter cup on the outside? Just go for the opposite first?
See, what you're describing is a good idea. And obviously their R&D department doesn't have those very often.
I'm not against the concept of just like indulging in the peanut butter, because the Reese's peanut butter is delish. And I'm looking at the image of it, and there is a difference in the texture. Yeah, the inside texture is more granular, the outside texture is smooth, not akin to the way the chocolate is. So at least the texture is different. But I would have made that like a peanut butter bar. So you have like a peanut butter coating on the outside, and that's if I were committed to the all peanut butter thing, which I'm not. I think they should have done. I would love to hear about the thought process and like why they skipped over the obvious subversion, which is to do the chocolate on the inside, peanut butter on the outside. I would love that. I would have loved that.
Yeah, the inverse sounds like a way better idea than what they came up with. And if I wake up Easter morning, because if I can, like when I look in my Easter basket, because that's when I can finally eat candy again. If I eat, and I'm gonna eat a bunch of candy. If I start shoving candy in my mouth and I taste all peanut butter, nothing else, I'm just, like I said, throwing fists to the closest person.
Okay,
this is supposed to be like the end result of a long line of experimentation where they do the inverse, and then maybe they introduce some different, like caramel on the inside, peanut butter on the outside, chocolate on the outside, like mint on the inside. There's like 1,000 different things you can do. The whole concept of like something on the outside, something on the inside. Imagine, look at what like Kit Kat does. They do so many Kit Kat flavors. Imagine if they did a contest where like this is like the contest. Somebody as a troll idea suggested, I put peanut butter on the outside, I put peanut butter on the inside, and then because it was randomly selected, they pulled it like,
No, they're probably excited because they're like, dude, we saved so much money. We already have a giant vat of peanut butter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm looking at this, and I will admit I'm not happy with what I'm seeing.
You shouldn't be.
So, for the audio listeners, to literally describe to you what we're all looking at, it is literally peanut butter in the shape of a Reese's. That is the best description
just a cup of
ever.
Peanut butter, yeah.
That's all it is. I thought it was going to be like maybe a little bit different. Like, I thought they were reducing the chocolate, like making it thinner, not getting rid of all the chocolate.
No, when I said it was a Reese's cup just made of peanut butter, I was being dead serious. It's a normal size, normal looking Reese's cup, just a block of peanut butter.
So when we're over here, like when you're preparing this stuff, believe it or not, guys, we do have all this stuff prepped in advance. But when you're out there like sending stuff in, I try to just like glance at it, just to see kind of what's going on. I don't look into it. I thought this was like, I either thought it was going to be a situation where it was like sugar or no chocolate, like no actual chocolate. It was something fake in there. Or I thought it was going to be minimum amount. Actually seeing this and reading, nope, I'm not. No,
it's chocolate free. They're labeling it chocolate free.
I want to die. Like, seeing this makes me one step closer.
Yeah, Joseph brought up Kit Kat flavors, and I just want to throw a little plug out there. If you guys ever go to Japan or get like those international like snack boxes, like those subscription crates, the matcha green tea Kit Kats are the best Kit Kats you could ever get.
I've had those.
I want those.
They're amazing. Yeah, they're so good. Same with the Pocky. I've had matcha green tea Pocky. It's really good. I don't know if you could. I think you get that anywhere though.
Yeah. I'm not fussy on matcha.
See, I'm not either. But the Kit Kats changed my mind.
So I just
and my
Google
Starbucks
searched.
order is, yeah.
I just Google searched the Japanese Kit Kats, and this ain't gonna work for you, James. But on Amazon, you can buy 16 of them. Like one of each, 16 different flavors from Japan for only $18.
Yeah, it's a shame Jeff Bezos isn't getting my money.
You know what? Good. He doesn't need it. But he's getting my money though. I'm definitely getting these. And
I will say they also have like a strawberry one. It's a strawberry something. It's also good.
I see it, and I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. So what is probably like? We can stretch it out a little bit more. What is probably like the one snack that you would say, not your gaming snack, we already did that, but like the weirdest snack you've ever... Yeah, all-timer. What is the weirdest snack you've ever had? Like a candy of some sort.
Weirdest snack. Ooh, all right. I'd give you one as a kid.
Okay.
The weirdest snack I ever had was was the Warheads, because I never seen that as a kid, and I still to this day don't understand the concept of just making something that makes you want to die. I'm not a big sour person, but I get the interest in it, but I don't understand wanting it so sour that it's just not enjoyable. Same thing with spicy food. I like a little spice in my food.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt is from Mexico. She's notoriously cooked with spices, and so I like spicy food, but I like flavorful spice. I don't like just I don't want to reenact Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire. You know what I mean?
yeah, I get that.
That was a poop joke for audio audience that didn't get that.
For anyone who's younger than 16, that was for you.
Yeah, there you go. I aim to please.
James, what about Joseph? What about you? Too many J's.
I don't know what to call this exactly, because I was trying to find it. I think it's called a tamarindo. I enjoyed this a great deal. It is a Mexican candy, and it has it's hard to describe, but it's on a stick, red crystal, kind of, I don't want to say creamy, but it's very paste like. As you eat it, you're just kind of like tearing the paste off of it. Very tasty though. But it is odd. So yeah, on a technicality, that's the weirdest candy I've ever had. But I also recommend it. Like, I liked it. It was good. I had multiple.
Now, quick question: is this weirdest? Did you say weirdest snacks or weirdest candy?
I was pretty much kind of leaning into snacks or candies. Depends on what we could discover.
Okay, because I have one weird snack that I ate as a kid. Or not as a kid, as an adult. I'm sorry, I did the one as a kid. That I ate as an adult, and I did not like it at all.
Okay,
but
what was it?
It's not the fact that it was tasty. It was because of how weird it was. Is why I didn't like it. Fried octopus balls, not like testicles, but like it was octopus that was covered and coated and deep fried into ball form.
Oh, I eat those regularly.
Do you really?
Yeah, you know, we get sushi once in a while, and yeah, I get the I think they're called unagi.
Is that what that is? I thought unagi was squid.
Yeah, you might be right.
Because I've had.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I was wrong. Yeah, unagi is squid. Okay, hang on. Because there was a name for these octopus balls, takoyaki.
Takoyaki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Unagi's good. Takoyaki's not. But it was so weird. So, it like, if you guys have ever had hush puppies, it's just
Yes.
fried bread dough.
Mm-hmm.
It started to taste like that, and then you get like this, like, gummy center that is dry and moist at the same time.
I hate that. That's a texture deal for me. Can't do it.
Yeah. And it gave me food poisoning too, so that wasn't a good experience.
Then that's it. If it gives you food poisoning, I think it's just done then.
Yeah.
But I got a weird candy, and this was just me growing up. So I had it a couple times, and I've tried to this day. I even had one recently when I was on a trip with my girlfriend, and it's like these orange, like marshmallow peanut things.
Oh, circus peanuts.
Yeah. So I sat there, had them when I was young, and they were so hard. And once you bit into them, it was just nothing. It didn't taste like anything. I was like, you know what? Bad thing. Even my mom was like, these suck. Like, these are not any good. And then growing up, I was like, oh, I have an opportunity. I got $1. I'm going to run down to the gas station and get one. They still sucked. I bought literally like the name brand ones the other day. Bought the name brand ones. Had them. They still suck. They're flavorless. And they're still hard. Why is marshmallow so hard and not even soft on the inside? This was seriously, I would rather eat a foam peanut than eat this, because that's literally what it was.
Can I point out the fact that Jordan, this is an exact quote here. Jordan said, and as an adult, I had $1, so I ran down to the gas station and bought it. As
You don't-
so fiscally
I'm only
irresponsible
22,
adult.
dude. There's not much in my life. I didn't have that much like in my life until I hit 18,
No,
and even then
I
it was
feel
like,
that. I feel you.
man, I still don't have much. It is coming down outside. I may be
Lucky.
homeless. The storm might just take over my house, and I'll just live with it.
I love big storms as long as I'm home. I hate storms if I'm at work or I'm out and about. I hate big storms, but if I'm home, I absolutely love them.
Oh,
I am
You know what else
so
I love?
amped for rainy season here in Canada. My balcony isn't done yet, but the wires are hanging outside right now, so I think they're doing ours this week. I am so amped for when there's a storm. I'm just gonna walk out onto the balcony and just let myself be like drenched in it, because I love being the warm weather.
Yep.
The rain coming down feels
it
good.
feels so nice.
Yeah.
It really does. I've been storm chasing. Have any of you guys been storm chasing? Where you're like actually trying to like catch residue of like
No.
tornadoes and stuff?
No, but somebody I was stationed with in the Marine Corps, he actually got a job as a storm chaser
Wow. Okay.
when he got out. Yeah.
Okay.
Did not know I have
that.
him on social. I have him on socials, and he posts pictures and stuff like that. So he's pretty legit. You know what else is great though?
The end of the podcast.
Finally, when we can finally end this ugly episode.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It was a great episode though.
This is
might not
more of a conversational piece than an informational piece, but that's all good.
Yeah.
I had fun.
So did I.
All right, Joseph, why don't you pimp out your social medias for us real quick?
Before we die.
Love to. So you can catch me on any number of places. If you go to Twitter, it's at Tiny Enemy Shrimp. If you go to Instagram, my IG is Joseph Ianni. That's IANNI. Joseph Ianni, thanks you for waiting. All one word. And you can check out my e-commerce podcast, where I am at my most poised and respectful of people. It is ECO MO. Oh my goodness, I almost lost there. ECO MONICS. It's hard for me to. Ecomonics. If Google says, "Did you mean economics?" Tell them no. Tell them no, Google.
Anywhere else
And
you
then
can
switch
tell
to
them
DuckDuckGo.
no? Yeah. Search DuckDuckGo, and then when they tell you no, say no.
Duck, duck, go.
might say- Yeah. If you want to find the video feed of this, you can find us on Facebook.com at Skullhunter Podcast. You can also find the video of it maybe on the YouTube at Skullhunter Podcast.
Yeah, should be.
We're still kind of new at that. We're getting used to it.
It's slow.
You can find us on Twitter. If you have any comments about anything, most likely you can leave them in the comment sections of either the live feeds or over on Twitter at SkullhunterPod. You can find me on Twitter at TheCrawdaddy23. You can find him on Facebook and YouTube at Skullhunter Games, where the lovely ladies here will be playing some CS:GO on Tuesday.
So nice.
It's a fun time. If you missed last stream, the VOD is up on Skullhunter Games YouTube.
It's
Good
pretty
times, good
entertaining.
times.
Pretty entertaining.
Yeah. One of us may or may not have actual cheating software. It's fun. Also, we want to thank our sponsor, Anchor.
Thank you,
That was
Anchor.
funny. Yeah. Thanks, Anchor. You cool. If you want to start making podcasts from your cell phone or your computer, download Anchor app on the iTunes Store or Google Play Store, or go to anchor.fm, where you can. What is the tape for?
Well, just to do a live demonstration of how to cheat in Counter-Strike.
Oh, okay. Well, while he's getting rid of that, I'll finish selling out. You can go there. They deal with everything. Deal with distribution. You start making money with very minimal listenership. Very easy. Very helpful. That's who we're using. And thank you for sponsoring the podcast, Anchor. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Also, I forgot to tell you where you can find us in Audio Realm on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. That's none of our business. I'm trying to be quiet.
My scissors aren't nearby, so I have to use the screwdriver that I keep close by.
Yeah, well, I kind of want to watch him just impale his palm.
I don't know what's gonna happen here. You know what? You guys should just follow so you could get to the next podcast, because you know it's gonna be coming out Tuesday. Tuesday's coming out, usually, as always.
Yep, this one will be out eventually, and by the time you listen to this, hopefully it'll be before Tuesday. And if it's before Tuesday, that means you'll have another one to listen to right afterwards.
Hopefully,
You're spoiled here. Yes, you are.
Yeah, you're getting spoiled. You waited a little longer, then you're gonna get them back to back. This is still better marketing strategy than Reese's. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and have a good one. Bye.
bye everyone. Come on, Joseph, show us.
That's it. You'll never get caught.
Oh, perfect.
Normally large.